there. Dr. Darcy here with the 4 pathways that confirm what you already suspect, which is you are made for more. You're meant for more. Pathway number 1, divine discontent. It feels really yucky. It's that inside thing that kind of feels like a hole that you can't quite fill up. Kind of feels like, there has to be more to life than this. And it's actually shows you that there's positive life changes that you are being called toward. And when you're having the divine discontent thing, it means you're not going. The divine discontent won't go away by trying to shove our head down in the sand like, can I just be okay? It's a really positive thing when you have it, because it actually means that you have an open enough channel to whatever is your spiritual guidance, whatever is your higher aspects, that they're pushing on you, saying, come here, it's time, move in that direction. A client was telling me some yucky stuff going on and that she just felt really crunched up and not right. She knew there was more, but she didn't know what to do. And I said, oh, awesome. So you're having that divine discontent. And she goes, it feels awful. And I said, oh, yeah, I know it feels awful, but it only feels awful until you take even a baby step in the direction toward it. She thought that it meant she was doing something wrong. Divine discontent is a gigantic gift to you because it will not shut up until you start taking baby action steps toward moving in the direction of your more, toward your higher life, toward your higher version of yourself. Pathway number 2 is, if you've ever experienced big grief or sadness when you've tried to break up with whatever is your higher purpose or your higher calling. I know that forever I've wanted to be my author, speaker, trainer self. And years ago, when I got a divorce, I could feel myself thinking, like, logistically, I can't wing it. I don't know how to do it. And so I tried to break up with that feeling of knowing that I was to be an author and a speaker and a spiritual entrepreneur. And when I tried to just be like, can't you just get over it? Can't you just be okay? Can't you just be okay with life? It's pretty good. And there was a deep sadness. If there's anything that you're really wanting to experience, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's a relationship that you love, maybe it's going to do some cool workout in the world. If you're trying to talk yourself into breaking up with that love and that desire and that thing you really want, and if there is that big, yucky, deep grieving sadness, that is your pathway, another one that shows that you are meant for more. The third pathway is when you experience joys or happiness or things that feel like, oh, it feels right and it feels like lightness of being and it feels good. My goodness, we are so used to only experiencing those every once in a while in little bits of time. And I think our culture has sort of helped us fall asleep into this thing that goes, that's enough. Little bits of good here and there are all you need. They're all you're going to get. But I want you to know that when you feel the rightness of when you feel light or you feel love or compassion or joy, or you laugh, or there's awesome connection with you and beautiful humans that you love, or when you feel your spiritual alignment, when you feel your heart open up. A friend and client of mine the other day just described it as this warm, awesome feeling in her heart. You are meant for so many more of those moments. Your life is supposed to feel good, not every moment of every day, but often. So when you get anything that feels like good or joyfulness, understand that that is life saying you deserve way more of those. It's your birthright. And it's even your empowered responsibility to create more of those for your life so that other people can look to you and go, oh, what are you doing that's making you have a life that's so awesome? Pathway number 1 is divine discontent. Pathway number 2 is the deep sadness you get when you try to break up with whatever is really a higher calling for you. Pathway 3 is just the joys and the loves and things that feel good. Those are your messages that you are deserving and are supposed to live with way more of those feelings, not just barely enough. And the 4th pathway that lets you know what you suspect is true, which is that you're meant for more, is external clues and signs and circumstances. Now you've got inner guidance that we'll talk about, and that's there all the time. But truly, when you see these external things show up and you're like, I think that was for me. Was that a sign? Yes, the universe is always talking to you. A good friend of mine who's very up in her head was having some difficulty with some really yucky work stuff going on. And she went with some friends and they were taking some drives through the mountain. And I had said, hey, just be on the lookout. I swear, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's talking to you and it's going to give you some messages. And she said, Darce, I don't know if I really ever get those. I just don't know. And I said, I know, just be on the lookout though. Just open your willingness. And she called me days later and said, you are not going to believe this. We were driving through some little, wooded town, little podunk small towns, and on a dilapidated building, there was an actual sign, a big old sign on the side of the building that said, everything's going to be all right. She called me and she said, oh my God, it was a sign. That was a sign that said things are going to work out. Signs are not always that crystal clear. There was a woman who was taking a class of mine and I was talking about these things. And she said, oh my goodness, right before this webinar happened, I said, all right, God, I really need some help here. She goes, and just a couple of minutes later, an advertisement for my class popped in and it was called Messages from the Universe. So be on the lookout for signs and circumstances. And even if your beautiful, bright busyness brain goes, I don't know if that's really a sign, I'm probably making it up. When it sits as good and right, and it feels right with your soul, know that it is really true that those signs and those circumstances are from the bigger part of the divine, of the universe, of your own higher self. And they really are talking to you. You deserve wonderful, awesome good. You deserve to live your more. You deserve to live a life that you love. You deserve to create a life that you love. I'm Dr. Darcy Lord. I know that self-love can help change the world. In the bottom here in these comments, I have a link for the 5 principles of self-love practice. And if that's something that would benefit you, I would be honored if you would click on it and get that gift. See you again next time.